Okay, we're starting. We are here in Panama City Beach for Ironman, Florida. Tomorrow's race day, Saturday, November 4th, and we arrived here on Wednesday. Traveled pretty much all day, didn't have time to do any training. Got here around dinner time. First day in a while actually without any training. So that's why yesterday did all three, kind of try to really get the body moving, even though it's just 2 days out from the race. Did some intervals on the bike, 4 by 10 minutes, and swam also in the morning, 3,000 yards, and then ran half an hour at the end of the day. Yeah, as you said, I was gonna do the Israel Middle East Championship. It was actually the same amount of prize money, but it was a championship race, so there were more slots and kind of slightly higher bonuses if I won. And originally I also thought it was going to be a gold tier race, so more PTO points for the world ranking. But because of the prize money that was a bit lower actually, well, same as here, which is a non-championship race, it didn't get the gold tier points. So yeah, pretty quickly I knew I was going to come to Florida. The first goal is get the Kona slot. And then after Nice, I mean, that was beginning of September, so I definitely knew I had at least another race in me. And well, especially with the broken collarbone, I didn't race much at all, just Ironman Texas and then Ibiza within 2 weeks at the beginning of the season, and then didn't race till September, so I could even race more. But it's always mentally, once you start getting into November, December, like you kind of feel like you're done. So yeah, I think this will be it. But yeah, so first main goal, get the Kona slot, and then second main one is, well, obviously finish well and get really good points. Because on the PTO ranking right now I have 2 really good results and 1 quite low. So a good race will really bump me up the ranking, which will also get me a higher end of the year bonus on the PTO ranking. So well, it's an ocean swim, so even though they said it's going to be pretty flat, it looks like non-wetsuit, so I'm hoping to have a bit of a gap on Magnus. It would be pretty similar to Nice actually. Fairly flat, but still, you know, we're still out there, it's still some currents and waves, and the non-wetsuit is also, I do like not swimming in the wetsuit. So hopefully I'll have a bit of a gap on him, and it looks like there are some really strong swimmers. So hopefully follow the best guys and have maybe a bit of a smaller group up front. And then head on the bike. I mean, obviously I just hope to have really good legs and kind of drop some of the slower guys and kind of be in the top 3, 4 best guys up front, and hopefully hold off Magnus for as long as I can. And then as soon as he comes by, because he probably will on this type of course, if he's not already with us at the end of the swim, if he has a really good swim. So definitely want to push it and try to go with him. And so ideally with him in T2, and then kind of that's what happened in Nice. We ran together for a while, so I would love to be with him and be able to run with him for the whole marathon and beat him at the end. That would be a perfect scenario. But I mean, there's also obviously the whole field of really strong guys. As I said, other top 10 at Worlds guys. And guys like Denis Chevreau, the French guy, who runs 2:35, it seems like, every race. So yeah, some guys will be coming from the back. And yeah, just, I mean, it's obvious, but hope to be up front and, as I said, battle it for the win. Okay, morning of. The race was starting at 6:40 a.m. and I woke up the latest I ever woke up before an Ironman, which is 4:30. 2 hours and 10 minutes before the race. And I had a fully liquid breakfast which is the first time it's 100% liquid. I had a Red Bull and yeah, sipping on all morning on sports drink. So I had around, it was around 200 grams of carbs before the race. So I think it was plenty enough. And the idea behind that is I just don't want to have solids sitting in my stomach for the race. It's just really nice if you're just absorbing everything and yeah, have nothing sitting around for the marathon. So I think that worked out quite well. I went to transition, checked my battery on the bike, and well, I have a one bike, so there's only one for the rear derailleur, and it was red, even though the day before I checked and it was green, and I checked on the app and it said it was full, but it was red. So I had to go back to the hotel, make sure the other battery I had, even though it's usually charged, I charged it, make sure it goes back to green. So we waited there 5-10 minutes in the hotel room, went back to the transition, and it was green, so that was all good. And then, yeah, I mean, then since I woke up pretty late, everything went pretty quickly, which is kind of nice. Like, you don't have time to overthink things. Quick jog to the beach, get the skin suit on. It was non-wetsuit swim for us, 74 degrees. And no warm up because it was a little cold outside, and with the water I would have been freezing if I warmed up before the race. And yeah, so also the least solids and least warm up I've had before a race. So that's the new secret sauce. And yeah, that was about it. Was lined up and ready to go, really. Since everything was kind of, I didn't look at what side to be on. I was towards the right side of the start, and yeah, I'll definitely have to do better that next time. I had a terrible start, actually. I checked quickly how deep the sand was getting for the run-in, but yeah, as soon as I dove in, I got plenty of water in my goggles. I should have tightened them a little more. And then, so I was like kind of running, taking the water out, dove again, water came back in. It was kind of stupid, really. It was kind of embarrassing. I don't know if you got it on video, but so I was pretty much last, I'd say. But then but then I was telling myself, you know, in the grand scheme of things, I'm maybe 5 seconds behind these guys. It's nothing, like, chill. So then I kind of swam quickly, and then I was very quickly towards the front. So that was fine. And then, like if I did that in a PTO race, for example, with high caliber swimmers at the front, I mean, we had some good swimmers at the front, but if it was, let's say, a more dense field or a shorter course race, maybe it wouldn't have worked out as well. But this time was fine. And so it was a 2-loop course, a little choppy out there. And, but yeah, I mean, I was in the top 5, top 8 the whole time. I thought with the chop and no wetsuit, we'd probably have less people in the front group. And actually, I never saw Magnus either, so I kind of assumed he was in a second pack. But I saw some videos after the race, and yeah, he was like the last guy in the first pack. So that was the first part of my plan, hoping Magnus wouldn't make the first pack. So that wasn't ideal, let's say, but I mean, you know, it's a small part of an Ironman. And yeah, as I said, we were, 12 out of the water, quick transition, out in the first group. Magnus put on some aero socks, so he lost actually quite a bit of time in T1, I saw, like over a minute. And another guy too put socks, so he was a little back. So it was 10 of us. Started the bike, I didn't start too fast, I mean, just kind of stayed behind a little. It's not like I'm full attack mode right away. But then after 5-10K, there was this bridge, and I decided it was kind of time to go, put an effort in. And Jesper Svensson had a slight gap. He was a little off the front. So I decided to push the bridge, push the downhill after the bridge, kind of bridge up to him and try to get a gap on some of the fast runners. Main guy being Denis Chevreau, who was in this front pack and who's a, you know, serial 235-ish runner. We had a bit of a gap, and then as I was leading Jesper, and we had a gap on the guys behind, and at this point I've been doing, I don't know, whatever, 330, 340, 350 for a while. Magnus comes by and like, damn it, like I'm already kind of pushing hard, like I'm already in attack mode, so it's kind of hard to go extra attack mode. So I went really hard to follow him, managed to stay with him, and then I was actually surprised the guys behind weren't too far back. So long story short, kind of this group came together, but Denis Chevreau and some of the guys did get dropped, so that was still the good part, 5 of them. So we ended up being 7, I think it was, 6 or 7 in the front group. But overall, I think we worked really well, and you can see it with the gap. I think we all wanted the same thing, right? We wanted a big gap on all the fast runners that were behind, and that was mainly Matt Hansen and Denis Chevreau. And we had 10 minutes on anyone else in T2, and 15 minutes on Matt. So that was ideal, I'd say. Well, my main goal for the race, or for my race plan, was I wanted to be with Magnus in T2. And so I was executing that quite well. He already had the socks on that he put from T1. I had to put socks on. Thankfully, I was quite quick with that. And I only exited transition, let's say 5, 6, 7 seconds behind him. So I started running with Magnus, Stepniak and Mark Hart were the next 2. But I was feeling super easy. I mean, I've never felt that effortless in a marathon of an Ironman. And 10K, and then after 11, 12Ks, I was already leading for a few K there at that point. I went by Magnus after maybe 7 or 8K, and just felt he lost a few meters, and I didn't change anything. I kept on looking at my watch, 340, 345 a K. Keep on ticking those Ks over since it felt really easy and it was a fast pace. I was like, this is perfect, no need to change anything. Went by the 21 Ks in 1:17:30, which was really good. And then I was just really able to keep the pace, that same pace, till a solid 32 Ks into the run. And at that point, I already had what, 4 minutes maybe, 4 or 5 minutes? Yeah, I had 5 minutes on second. By then, Magnus faded, and then Stepniak was actually the next. Well, Mark Hart was the next guy, and then Stepniak. And then I just at that point, okay, my quads were starting to hurt quite a bit for the last 10K, but I was able to keep the pace, just drop 10 seconds a K, which wasn't too bad. And I really just wanted to get to the finish, honestly. At that point, you're not like, oh, 5 minutes is so much, I can just chill. Also, you want to keep on a fast pace and get a good marathon time. So that's always in the back of your mind. And then when you're leading with a big gap, you're always happy to also win with an even bigger gap. So there's always these sides of the thing. And then, yeah, the last 5K really took forever, but because it's kind of just that straight line. But yeah, finally finished, and yeah, that's it. Just wanted to say a big congrats to the other guys in the race. We all went really fast on this fast day, and it's always nice to have great competition out there and respectful guys to race with. As far as what I'm doing, this was the last race of my season, so now I'm in off season. Really wanted that high third score for the PTO World Ranking, so it looks like now I'm going to be ranked 8th in the world, which is really nice to finish the year like that. And yeah, 2 weeks of no training probably, and then focus on next year. I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen for that, if I'm going to go more for the PTO races or more for the Ironman series. I do have my Kona slot now, which was the first goal, I guess, of this race. And yeah, so we'll just keep you posted. Thank you for following along, and always helps the channel and my motivation to keep on having these videos coming. If you could like and subscribe, that would be great. Thank you. I mean, honestly, yeah, the race is one thing, but I always do think about that too. It's kind of who you do it with and how the whole process goes. So yeah, being with you guys definitely is a highlight of the weekend, I'd say, because if you're alone, you know, not as fun, the whole process is not as enjoyable. So thank you, Gerard, for all your hard work here, and thank you, Caden, for the help on everything, and yeah, just great to travel with you guys.
Oh, God, that was the nicest thing ever. I know, like, that was the nicest thing ever.